Our meeting tonight of the Charahoe Regional School Committee, our August meeting, Tuesday, August 19th. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Angela, the district clerk, can you please disclose the minutes of our executive session votes?
Yep. So I make a recommendation to close and seal executive session minutes pursuant to Rhode Island General Law.
So moved.
42-46-4 and 5.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Great. Okay, thank you. Disclosure of executive session votes.
There were 4 votes in the executive session this evening. The first was a vote to approve the emergency operation plans. That was unanimous in favor. The second was a vote to approve the executive session minutes from July 15th. That was 8 in favor with 1 abstention by Mr. Ruzan. The third was a vote to approve the homeschooling requests. That was unanimous in favor. And the fourth was to reconvene public session, also unanimous in favor.
Thank you, Angela. Okay, moving on to our agenda. We have our recognition section of our agenda, Skills USA National Event Placements. I've asked the superintendent to recognize the individual students.
So these students went to our national competition, and many of them are 2025 graduates. Not all, but unfortunately some were not able to attend, but they have all received their awards at the national convention. So congratulations to Catherine Pilkington, Criminal Justice, 10th place nationally. Charlotte Giusti, Early Childhood Education, 11th place nationally. Cassidy Moyer, Crime Scene Investigation. Mia McNeese, Crime Scene Investigation. And Fiona Smith, Crime Scene Investigation. They were a team, and they placed first place national gold.
Wow, that's amazing.
Great. Elijah, all of them. For our first 4 groups. And then we have Elijah Henley, who was first place national gold for electrical construction wiring. Nolan Lopes, Marine Service Technology, 9th place nationally. And Ella Murphy. Ella Murphy is not a graduate, but Ella is working tonight. And she placed 2nd national silver. She's in our annual report. That face, I think she tells it all about the excitement she had. But Ella Murphy has won, actually. She won the national competition her freshman year. She ranked top 3 last year and then ranked now 2nd. So she is a force to be reckoned with as it comes to baking and pastry art. So congratulations to all our national winners.
Tina, are there hundreds of kids that participate
Oh,
in
yeah,
these?
there's thousands of kids.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Okay, next is public forum. Let me just go over some of the highlights of our public forum policy, because we do have, looks like 4 folks that have signed up for public forum. So in our public forum policy, we ask each citizen who makes a public statement to be accurate in your statement, present facts, present information based on personal knowledge, not hearsay, be considerate, and allow others to speak without interruption. So anyone wishing to come up and speak tonight can speak about items not on the agenda. And it doesn't look like anyone is speaking on items not on the agenda this evening, so I appreciate that. And in our policy, it says the chair will have the discretion to limit each person to 2 to 4 minutes. It doesn't look like we have many people signed up tonight, so we will allow the 4 minutes for each of the folks that have signed up. Okay. All right. So the first person that has signed up this evening is Gregory Avedizian from Hopkinton. Greg, would you like to come forward, please?
Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Greg Avedizian. I am a resident of the town of Hopkinton. It's been nearly 50 years since any substantial capital improvements to any of the elementary schools, and it will be our 2nd attempt at a 5-year capital improvement plan as mandated by RIDE. The chair last month stated that she wants to hear from the residents before considering another plan. My thoughts are that while that has value in developing a plan that the taxpayers will ultimately approve, The school committee was elected to provide some sense of leadership. The leadership to provide the facts before asking the questions of the public. Something that has been lacking not just with the present school committee, but previous school committees as well. The condition of the elementary schools is only getting worse because of their age, which has been worsened by the actions of this and past school committees to squeeze every penny from the operating budget and the capital improvement budget. In light of the failure of the voters to approve the construction bond included in the last proposed five-year plan that is mandated by RIDE, my question to the chair and to the committee is, why hasn't the committee asked these questions before now, knowing the RIDE requirements is still needed to be addressed, and it's been 15 months since the bond failed. The cost to maintain old buildings is expensive, and it will only get more expensive. A 25-year-old boiler fails, roofs fail, neither of which has anything to do with the failure of the administration to properly maintain its school buildings. The bond would have addressed a problem that has been 50 years in the making. My question to the chair and to the committee is, why haven't you asked these questions of the public before now? Where is your sense of urgency? The lack of urgency, in my mind, displays a complete disregard for your duties as members of the committee to act in the best interest of all the students of Charahoe. There are some of this committee who not only did not ask the questions 15 months ago, but actively campaigned against the bond with misinformation or no information at all. Some past committee members failed the taxpayers as well when it failed to tell them that the impact on the tax rate would have been the same for if they had built 3 new schools as it is to simply continue to repair them as they are right now. And it's already starting again. Some are asking, why are we asking again about the bond? We just voted against this. The why is we are mandated by RIDE to develop a 5-year plan. What happened to the money that would have, people are asking, what happened to the money that should have been spent, used to maintain the buildings? Conspiracy theories abound. Past actions of some on this school committee gives me little confidence that you will demonstrate any leadership when you ask the residents of the questions, what do you want to do for the students of Charahoe, or that you will listen or answer the questions with complete honesty. Your inaction and delays continue to cost the taxpayers you claim to advocate for. Past actions of some of you gives me very little confidence that even when you listen to the residents, you lack the desire and the leadership to develop and endorse a 5-year capital improvement plan that includes new schools. I'm shocked and disappointed that even knowing that it will be the most affordable option for the taxpayers and the best option for current and future students of Charahoe, this committee continues to display no sense of urgency. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is, I just want to set my timer. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Avedisian. Justin Bentley is next from Hopkinton.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak. I will be pretty quick. I know we're not allowed to discuss things on the agenda, but I had a kind of a strange request or an ask that may not be possible about the agenda. Many of us in the community love when it's posted on Friday prior to the meetings, looking at it, poring over it, seeing what's on it. And is it possible that it could be posted not as a complete document, but sort of as a working document earlier in the week and have things added to it? Just there are things that I just don't have enough time to research, like, and again, looking at not something specific on the agenda, but the grants, that looks incredible. I wish I had had a little more time to research the grants and I was a little bit more informed. So if that, I don't know if that's possible, but just as an ask, and I know that changes would be made up until Friday, but if that would be possible, if that could be considered by whomever's in charge. I know that there's a lot of work that goes into that, Ms. Brazil. I appreciate that. I would not want to wear your shoes. But if that's a possibility, just that would be greatly appreciated by many. And the only other thing is a favor, which is a little troubling. I am not a confrontational person, but as you know, you've heard from me for the last 6 months. I've been reaching out about data, seeking communication, and many of you have communicated with me, and I appreciate that. But for 6 months, being a member of Hopkinton, I have not received a response from the 4 members on the school committee that represent Hopkinton, that represent me, that represent my children. I've asked for input, for data. I've tried to share data that I've worked with Dr. Carmela to compile, and it's deeply, deeply troubling to me that I'm being ignored. So I could ask, but it appears they're still not paying attention. Could I, Madam Chair, could you get them to respond and communicate according to the principle of ethics, number 5 and 6? I feel left out, and it's really discouraging.
I can't make anybody do anything.
Okay.
Everybody is an adult in the room, but I would say to anyone that open dialogue and open communication is always best. And there's lots of times where I've stayed after the meetings and I've tried to have a dialogue with folks, and have a two-way conversation. So I appreciate your
I'll
comments.
continue reaching out.
Thank you. That's all you can do. Okay, next is Mary Mason from Richmond. Mary, just hold on one moment. So I need to just reset my timer. Thank you. All set.
Last week, I emailed a few people about the contract negotiations. And I'm going to read that so it's part of the record. I said, with the teacher contract expiring August 31st, I wonder whether an update on negotiations is an agenda item at the August regular meeting. And if not, can it be added? There are only 2 weeks left on the current CBA, and it is concerning that there has been little said about the progress. I understand you can't discuss details, but it would be helpful to know when negotiations were requested, when did they begin, the dates that the negotiation sessions were held with the union leadership, whether any meetings are currently scheduled, and when you anticipate a resolution. It's disappointing that this is unresolved, given that there are so many other important matters facing the committee this fall. It makes me wonder, as a retired educator, whether there is movement at all on this contract, and whether or not it's time to go into arbitration, mediation, things like that. I see there's an agenda item for adding a new member. I'm a little suspicious of why that's happening. That's my way, as a person who has belonged to a union. So I'm going to wait and see what is said tonight. Totally off this topic, I would like to say that, Larry, I hope that you really like frozen water, because in this place, I don't think that hat is appropriate.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I respond?
Typically, we don't allow members to respond, but if you would like to, that's up to you.
I'm just going to request that you send me an email. Okay, I am the chair on the negotiation committee. Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
For the people that I understood, for the people to address that to.
Okay, so you sent it to my Charahoe email.
I did not send it to you. I sent it to 3 people that I was understood were the people to ask about agenda items.
Oh,
The chair,
okay,
the superintendent, and the secretary.
all right.
Now, if that's different, then somebody needs to enlighten me.
Well, if
Mary,
you could-
hold on, Diane. Mary, if you would like to just come back up, because for the people that are watching online, they can't hear you.
My response to that was that I did email who I understood were the people I was supposed to email: the chair, the superintendent, and the secretary of the school committee. So if that's different, then I need to be enlightened on
Well,
that.
I'm asking you personally because I am on the negotiation committee, okay? And you're right, you're entitled to some answers, and I would be more than happy to respond to an email if you contact me through my Charahoe email,
Okay, I will do that.
and I will give you as much
I
information
understand the
as I
confidentiality
possibly
of the
can.
situation. I do.
Okay?
I do
Just
understand
to
that.
satisfy what you're looking for.
I think the questions that I asked are the ones that really are in the public domain. They're
Yeah.
not giving away anything that needs
Right.
to be held confidential.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Superintendent Picard?
So, Ms. Mason, just to clarify, so we did receive the email. It's up to you. I just wanted to share the information. So we're handling, per legal advice, because it's negotiations, we're handling it like an APA request, anything that's public. So my administrative assistant is working on that. She handles those requests so that she will provide you with all of the questions you stated. She will send you the agendas and the minutes that we can publicly share.
Okay.
And then, but you did send it to the correct people. The chair of the school committee finalizes this agenda based on school committee requests. And then the subcommittee chair lets the chair know when she's ready to sort of give an update, and then that's how that works. But we will be responding, but we're going to do it like a public records request to ensure that you have all the information and it's done legally to ensure that we don't
Of course.
make any missteps.
Of course, I understand that. Thank you.
And I did respond to your email, and I did mention that I had to refer it to the district clerk, and that was under the advisement of legal counsel.
Yes, correct. You did respond. I
Thank you.
didn't say that, but yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Robert Caradillo from Westerly. Mr. Caradillo, step up, please, and I just want to set my timer, so just give me one moment, please. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, please excuse my voice this evening. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here to discuss the same things I was in the auditorium for on March 11th. Your illegal Title IX policy, as well as your illegal transgender guidance as put forth from RIDE. Sadly, your solicitor, whom I don't see here tonight,
He's right behind you.
where is he?
Right behind you.
Oh, great. Have not told you the truth. I don't like to call anyone a liar, so I won't, as it denotes intent. But I think the shoe may fit here. In January of this year, a federal judge codified the original intent of Title IX by ruling that it revert back to the 2020 rule under President Trump. This means that the Biden administration's hijacking, or attempted hijacking of Title IX, to have it include things like gender identity, was unlawful, and that Title IX would revert back to its original 1972 intent, which prevented discrimination on the basis of sex only. President Trump signed 2 executive orders shortly thereafter, and since then, numerous athletic organizations like the NCAA, the International Olympic Committee, as well as several colleges and universities, most notably the University of Pennsylvania, which was the college that you remember the infamous Leah Thomas swam for. They have also fallen into line and read the room. Males participating against females athletically places our women and girls in unfair, unsafe, and unlawful positions. Boys using girls' bathrooms and other safe spaces do as well. Your policy, your Title IX policy, which I have right here, on page 2, is in direct violation of Title IX. In spite of what Mr. Anderson and Ms. Picard have told you, I'll just read a little bit of it here. And it's very straightforward. It says, in accordance with Title IX, it shall be the policy of Charahoe to provide equality of opportunity in the educational programs and activities that it operates. That's fine. Charahoe shall not discriminate in admissions, treatment, or access to educational programs, activities, or facilities, or in regard to employment opportunities on the basis of sex, race, creed, religion, color, national origin, ethnicity, age, veteran or military status, sexual orientation, gender expression or identity, blah, 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 blah. That is not what Title IX says. Mr. Anderson knows that. You know that. That is not what it says. You are now in the crosshairs of the U.S. Department of Justice. This district is. This policy must be brought into compliance immediately, while both Mr. Anderson and Mr. Picard's employment status should be seriously looked into again for lying to you. Secondly, RIDE's transgender guidance which the Attorney General and Education Commissioner suggested you maintain, is also in direct violation of Title IX and must be stricken. No one wants anybody to be discriminated against here. But boys thinking they're girls or wanting to be girls or saying they're girls and vice versa does not make it so. Accommodations, requesting another 30 seconds to finish up.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Accommodations easily be made for a student who's uncomfortable using the facilities of his or her biological sex. People do it all the time. I'm sure you do it here. Westerly has already eliminated this guidance from there is no more trans guidance policy in Westerly. None. So you have three things to do. Bring your Title IX policy into compliance with federal law, reevaluate her and him, and strike RIDE's transgender guidance protocol. If anybody has any questions, I'm easy to find. You all know where to find me. I'm happy to talk to anybody on either side of the aisle about this issue, because it's major. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, that is the end of our public forum. Thank you to all the speakers for your input.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Why at our last meeting would you not allow Mrs. Purcell to go beyond her 2 minutes, but you let somebody in the public go beyond the allotted time they were given? Why the discrepancy?
I don't recall Miss Purcell asking for an extension, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. And we had 4 speakers tonight, and our public forum policy is 30 minutes. So I try to give everybody leeway within the 30
I'm
minutes.
just asking because
Yep.
it was observed.
Okay? I try to give everybody leeway within the 30 minutes.
Well, she's also a school committee member.
Understood. Okay, I'm moving on. Moving on to business.
So I recommend approval of the annual field trip. Since 2005, this field trip has been happening for the cross-country team requested by Coach Haberak.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approval? Unanimous. Thank you.
I recommend approval of the 2024-2025 annual report as presented. This report highlights the significant accomplishments of our students, our educators, and our community partners over the past year, including academic achievements, expanded opportunities in career and technical education, successful implementation of facilities improvements, and our continued focus on kindness, well-being, and a strong sense of belonging. The annual report reflects the collective effort and dedication of the entire Charahoe District, and it provides a transparent, comprehensive account of our progress as we approach the culmination of Vision 2026. Approval of this report affirms our shared commitment to excellence, opportunity, and continuous improvements for every learner. As your superintendent, I continue to be very proud of all of our progress and accomplishments. A special thank you to all the staff who helped coordinate and collaborate to gather these accomplishments and documents for this report, especially Dr. Katie Karakosian and Angela Brazil, who gathered everyone's information into this wonderful report. Thank you for all that you do.
So moved.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Is Katie here? There's Katie.
There she is.
Katie, do you want to come up? Thank you. Jess?
Just want to offer my accolades for how wonderful this book is, how many students are represented, all of the captions. I think it really is important, to me, speaking for myself, that I do sing the praises of how much our school community does for our kids. And the annual report really shows that. One thing I just thought about as I was going through it is that there's a lot of photos of community events, plays and the meals served at CTC. I'm wondering if there could be like more of like a call to action kind of page that showcases through the seasons the events that are available. So when a community member looks at it, they can kind of say like, okay, let me earmark, the Thanksgiving dinner or the Georgia CTC fundraiser, so they can kind of have a quick glance at what's available to become involved. I like that there's the chill mentoring block that's in there, so something kind of like that. And other volunteer opportunities are available to those that go through a background check as well. So just maybe trying to think of a way to invite the community in a way that is a little more purposeful was just my one feedback.
Love it.
Thanks.
Katie, I just want to say to you and to anybody else that was involved in putting this together, that the breadth and depth of the information in here, it really goes above and beyond. So thank you for putting that together. I know that it takes many, many hours, a lot of energy, a lot of effort to put this together. It's so comprehensive, and I think it's a great representation of our district and the district's accomplishments. And I particularly really like the highlight section for the various schools by school, and then what you're looking forward to in 2025, 2026. So thank you for putting that in there. Thank you.
Absolutely, team effort. Thank you.
Are there any other comments about the annual report? Okay, hearing none. Motion to approve the 2020,
We have, I made the motion.
I'm sorry, a vote on the annual report. All in favor of accepting and approving the annual report for 2024, 2025? Unanimous. Thank you so much.
So we're going to take the grants as a block unless somebody has a specific one they want to call out separately.
I do. I would like to call them out separately, but I just have one question, if that's okay. But so does that mean that we need a motion on every single one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, but I do. Okay, so C1, composting
Well, why
for,
don't you just call out the one that you want to separate, and then we'll do the rest in a block.
okay. So the one that I wanted to separate is the Henry Kendall. Sorry, yeah. Not Governor's Workforce. Henry P. Kendall Foundation. So it's for the New England Food Vision Prize, Katie?
Yes.
So, in reading the inform,
Yeah, but we need to take it for how, because
Oh,
we have it
okay.
as, we have it handled as a.
okay.
Why don't we do it this way?
Tyler?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve C1, 2, 4, and 5.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of C1, 2, 4, and 5? Unanimous. Thank you so much. Okay, so,
Madam Chair?
yes.
I make a motion to approve C3.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve,
Now
seconded.
discussion.
Okay, so discussion on that. So I have one question about the Henry P. Kendall Foundation grant application. So it does talk about in the grant application, review criteria. So there's 4 areas to review the grant application: impact, equity, sustainability, and readiness. So under sustainability, it says the use of prize funds is likely to support ongoing local and regional purchasing by the schools beyond the term of the grant. So the grant application is for $53,150. So I'm just concerned about sustainability. So does that imply that obviously they're probably not going to give us this award every year, and we probably can't go back to them year after year after year? So would that mean that we would have to put $53,000 into the budget to sustain this really great project to educate Charahoe students about local farming and foods and incorporating more local nutrient-dense superfoods into K through 12 school meals? I'm not saying that I'm against the intent of the application, but I'm worried about the budget implications beyond if we are able to get the award. So I don't know if anybody could speak to that, but sustainability is important because once you accept grant awards, lots of times you have to send in a grant update like a year after or 6 months after to talk about how you spent the money and your sustainability plan. So is there any feedback on that?
Do you want to start? or no?
I'm happy to offer.
Okay, thank
Great
you.
question. We're not expected to continuously support the work with an additional $53,000. As you know, this is going to bring in, again, those superfoods into our meals, which includes, we're going to try to experiment with kelp, which Chartwell staff are really interested in incorporating, as well as fish, and making sure that students find fish recipes that they are interested in eating. Not everyone's a fish eater, but we know how important those foods are. And then also a lot of foods that are accessible outside of the general, with just the Washington County Fair, like seeing foods that aren't just harvestable in the summers, because we're not in school in the summer, but looking for like root vegetables and different things that we can incorporate, kale, Swiss chard, things like that into the meals. So Chartwell's already has a budget, obviously, to feed our students. We're hoping to offset that by having tastings throughout this this 2-year period, and then finding ones that students, are like, yes, I'll eat broccoli like that. And then we're using our funds that we already have towards meals to making sure we're bringing those products in. So it's just using the money for tastings, finding the ways to prepare them that students and the majority of students will eat, and then incorporating those into the monthly meal plans.
Right, so this is to enhance, but to Katie's point, we already do this work at Chartwell's, and they do, and they're actually partnering with us
Yes.
to have this conversation. What it does is it allows us to sort of go outside the realm to try more opportunities while we have this opportunity for this grant. But when the grant sunsets, we're still going to do these opportunities because we already do them, but this allows us a little bit more of a reach.
Okay, terrific. Okay, so we have a motion and, oh, sorry, Karen.
Just quickly, Katie, I want to say thank you. 4 of these grants total $130,943.50. And we don't know about the governor's grant, so I appreciate all of the effort that has gone into this and the extras that we'll be able to provide for our kids because of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed. Any other comments? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving C3? Unanimous. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
So this is a discussion regarding the Hope Valley Elementary School playground equipment. Well, I will let Mr. Zenian provide you with the current status, so you can make a decision.
So based on the memo that was submitted, we did have the trust come out and look at all the playground equipment. Then we did have our certified playground installer give us a quote, but they're not on the MPA list. And based on that, we then looked at what Jason determined if you were to make a decision to move things, what should be moved. And you're looking at spending $34,700 to move old playground equipment that may or may not be reinstalled. There's no guarantee when it's pulled out of the ground that it will go back in, but they will charge you the price. So the price is to pull and replace, but if it doesn't get replaced, the price is the price from the company that we went out with. And then most of the equipment you're looking at probably has a 3 to 5 year life expectancy. So those are what you need to consider when you make your decisions on whether or not you think that playground equipment should be moved. And just please keep in mind, we did not budget for removal of playground equipment in the FY26 budget.
So do we have a motion here to move forward one way or the other? Oh, I know that, but is anyone going to put forward a motion to move forward one way or the other? Because technically, we're not supposed to discuss without a motion, right?
Can we make a motion for discussion purposes?
Yes, you can do that. Well, you can't say for discussion, but you can make a motion so that you can begin discussion.
Okay, I make a motion to approve funding to move the Hope Valley Elementary School playground for discussion purposes.
I'll second it.
For discussion purposes, and it's seconded, okay? Jess?
The MOA that we signed with Hopkinton says that we will move the playground equipment, that it should be removed. Are they expecting us to remove all of the playground equipment?
Anything we want, we have to have it removed by the date. After the date, then we can't go back and take it.
The only thing they've requested that we do is we take the chains off of the swings.
Take the chains off of the swing?
Off the swing
Yes,
set.
they don't want the swing sets to be operational. Besides that, they have not commented about any other equipment that is there.
Because it was like on a list at the back of the MOA.
Yes.
But they said that you don't have to remove all of it.
Anything we want, we have to have it gone by the
If we
time.
want it, we move it.
By September
If we
30th.
don't, we leave it.
Right, we have to have the building ready, the outside structures, it was like the sheds cleaned out, things like that. Yep, we met with the town manager and John and the legal counsel, and we discussed those things.
Okay.
But if you would like us to get a double check, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I think it would be good to double check. I just want to make sure that, you know, we're not, if we decide not to do this and then we say, okay, we have to remove everything anyway, and it's going to cost you $40,000, then it's like, it's hard to compare those two.
Well, we wouldn't spend $40,000 to rip it out to scrap it.
Do you know how much it would cost?
Richmond was done.
Wait, we did that with DPW.
DPW.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, this is a surprising amount of money to move playground equipment, that we don't know if we would use it or not, especially given the amount that was raised by the community and approved by the school committee to use, to make a new playground at Richmond. It doesn't seem like a wise investment to me. I know that it's an idea that inspired a lot of people when we were desperate for some solutions for Richmond, but I don't think it seems like a wise investment to spend this money. And I think that if we can leave it at Hope Valley and kids can still enjoy it where it is, I think that has a lot of benefit as well.
Thank you. Polly?
My question was going to be, what's the status of the money raised and how much it's going to cost to put the playground in at
That's the
Richmond?
next agenda.
Okay. You're almost there, we're almost there. So my question is, if we're removing this and we've already got a playground readily available to go in, then we're just spending money.
So Greg and Gina, I have a question. So if we leave the equipment there, does then it revert per the MOA as the town of Hopkinton property?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other Hopkinton members want to weigh in on this? Larry?
I suggest it's cheaper just to leave it there. Let the town of Hopkinton deal it as they may.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not worth the investment. I mean, I agree with everything Jess said. I don't have much else to add. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense at this point.
Okay. Jess?
Can I, I'm thinking about amending my motion, instead of tabling it, can we amend the motion to say,
But your motion was just for discussion purposes, right? So,
Well, she said approval.
I said approval.
Discussion,
So,
okay.
but I'm trying to think of, we can, I'm
Okay.
thinking of how to say that we're okay with leaving that equipment as long as Hopkinton is okay with that. But I don't know if I have to say that.
Well,
To
it's in
vote
the
this down.
MOA, right?
Right, we had to follow the MOA, we signed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, just,
So if that becomes an issue, we'll hear back.
Actually, my
But we can
apologies,
still-
Polly, I don't see the Richmond Playground update on here.
Oh, the next agenda
Okay.
item.
Yeah,
My apologies.
that's okay. But we're covered,
Yes.
I think.
I think Greg and I agree with the committee that to put money in to move something that the trust in the email says that they can't guarantee that once we pull it out, it will now be able to go back in. And if, you know, you wanted to make a move, then that money would go to maybe the new playground. But just for update, the Richmond Playground has been selected by the administrator with following the, you know, the review. We have the grant dollars, we have the school committee dollars, so then Mr. Zenian is in contact with the Potts Foundation to
have,
finalize.
That came through right before this meeting.
Oh, perfect.
So
then
we are,
ready to go.
the purchase should be made tomorrow and we're hoping for a fall installment.
But I hope by the end of September is our goal.
Terrific. Okay, so Jess, are you amending your motion?
I got my amendment.
That's okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see.
So
Craig.
Gina, when you say the trust, so the point is, the premise is with the trust that if you pull it out and put it at Richmond, they're not gonna insure that
Well,
piece
what
of
they're saying
equipment.
is it has to be inspected
Right.
once it comes out of the ground, before it goes back in the ground, and then even after, so you have to move it, and then they have to inspect it again prior.
And then there's
there's no
chance they're not
guarantee.
gonna insure. Remember that, folks.
I think it's more along the lines, once it's pulled out and inspected, they won't even let us put it back in the
Right.
ground. Never mind insure it.
Right, right.
It's not in the ground, they can't insure it.
Okay, so how are we moving forward?
I don't think I need to amend my motion because if,
I think we just
No.
vote on
yeah,
it.
right,
yeah.
they need, if the district needs to remove the equipment, they'll remove it. We won't have to vote on that.
Okay. So, the motion was discussion and/or approval regarding moving the Hope Valley Elementary School playground equipment. So, motion to approve. All those in favor? Seeing no one's in favor. Anybody opposed? That is unanimous. Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of our fund balance. Oh, actually, no, we don't. So we would table it, not table it, but we don't need the agenda item anymore. John, just to make sure I do this correctly.
Wait, which?
No.
No, I think you need that one.
This is for the school.
For the movie.
This is for moving.
Oh, the moving. Okay, not the playground.
Classroom.
Okay, moving equipment. Thank you for the clarification. I did get to bed late and I was up early, so I apologize.
all right, so
Price on this, so.
So
Okay,
this,
I have the price. I think you gave that to me. Thank you.
so this agenda item is approval of fund balance transfer to other purchase property service.
And the amount of 27,200, so that's the update, correct?
Yes.
Gina, could you say that again? I'm sorry.
27,200 is the updated amount.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
So it went down.
So I just have a question for the administration. So we obviously closed the Hope Valley Elementary School, unfortunately. We were told that we were gonna save the district $875,000 as a result of closing the school. So why wasn't any money put in the budget for moving costs? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot and be
So, no,
disrespectful.
There was $85,000 that we told you shouldn't remove from the Hope Valley closed and that you should keep in capital to do, to help close it. And,
Okay.
this committee chose not to.
Okay.
It was a long meeting, that meeting.
That
You
was
didn't put me on the
5
spot.
o'clock meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. Okay. Any other discussion on this? Karen, did you have your hand up?
I think the answer's here, but this includes the next move, which is the preschool.
The next move was finished last week, and they were able to do it quicker than they thought they would. That's why there was a reduction. So this originally, when I was bringing it to you, I didn't think we would get the second bill before this meeting, so I based it on their estimate. But this is our true bill now.
Okay, so has the preschool been moved?
Yes,
Yep.
everything
So
has been moved
Everything is out of Hope Valley?
except for the yard sale stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Approval of budget transfers, approval of fund balance transfer, all those, Linda?
No.
Oh, all those in favor?
No, we're just jumping the gun.
Just jumping in the gun, sorry.
Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Okay, approval of budget transfers, budget update.
I recommend approval as submitted, unless
So
you have
moved.
questions. Mr. Zanian is here.
Okay, we have
So moved.
a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion on this? Karen?
The transfer for the prescription rebate, is that the whole rebate for the prescription?
No, it's not.
Do you know how much is left?
I received an email right before this meeting with a statement, but I did not get to read it. I'm hoping it's almost the same amount,
Okay.
but I'll put it in the next month's update. That is not for the whole, though. We knew they were gonna give us, they give us, it should be for third quarter, and they give you 90% of what you're supposed to get. So I'm hoping the fourth quarter comes in around the same, and then there'll be about 10% layover.
Okay, thank you.
Jess?
Where will we see this transfer, like in the budget? Is there a line item for pharmacy benefits or?
So there is a separate balance that's kept for your WB help.
Okay.
So and then what happens is you basically create your own fund balance for healthcare, and then if you have a month, for example, if your healthcare costs you $700,000, you bring in $700,000 for the healthcare for a month, but your expenses are 800,000, you dip into that.
Right, okay,
The audit's the best way when we
Yes.
provide the audit to take a look at those things.
okay. Thank you.
Other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Motion to approve? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Okay, approval of request to add membership to the NEA Certified Negotiation Subcommittee. That was my request. I wanted to make a motion to add Laura Chapman to the subcommittee.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Craig?
Considering the individual's not here, and I have a question, could we just table this until the next meeting?
We could. So Laura has some expertise in an area that we're discussing regarding the certified contract negotiations. She has some real world expertise in one of those areas, and I thought that it would be a benefit to add her to the committee.
Well, I'd like to hear that from her personally.
I mean, I did talk to her about it personally.
It's nice.
And I'm sorry that she's not here, but she's not here for personal reasons. So we have a motion and a second. Jess?
So to echo some of the sentiment from public forum, we haven't received much of an update. So I don't really know what the purpose is, or I think I know what your reasoning is and your purpose is. But I just don't know if this should be an open session discussion. I think that being in negotiations is not the easiest situation. And I think that I don't know. I'm not sure.
So the subcommittee is, who's on it is a public conversation.
Right, okay.
The questions you would have would be executive session. So this item we couldn't put this item in an executive session because it doesn't follow the law around the executive session requirements. But if we want like the update to the contract, that would go in executive session, and you could do that at the next meeting if the committee decides, because this is one of the realms where this committee is in charge, right? The district's responsibility is to provide you with the information and data necessary to make decisions and how it will impact the district. But this item specifically has to be in public session because it's just discussing membership. And you did all your other subcommittees this way, that's why.
To continue, I don't know if you can share this, but have you signed rules of engagement or anything with, I would be worried this would violate something that the subcommittee has already signed. Diana's shaking her head no.
No, we,
Anything, it's just adding.
yeah,
something.
John wouldn't allow us to violate. He does
Allow
review
it,
this with us.
Okay, because if I thought for 1 second it would violate anything within the negotiation practices, I would be against it. But as far as I can see, it's not, we haven't gotten to that point, okay? So adding Laura, in my opinion, wouldn't make a difference at this point. Like, we could add her and get her expertise on certain things and go forward from there, is all I'm saying. Okay?
Craig and Linda, did you have your hand raised? It was Linda first, then Craig, then Tyler, and John, jump in if you feel that you need to jump in.
So for me to make an educated decision on yay or nay.
Hold on. Linda was first,
Oh,
okay? She raised her hand first. No, Linda was very vocal last month when I did not recognize her or let her finish her thought, so.
Thank you, Chair. I
welcome.
also agree with, I guess I'm not, I don't know if I can ask this, but again, I'm following up what Jessica said, is that, if there were ground rules established as far as members and numbers, I don't know if we can talk about that. That's part of, private negotiations thing.
And again, the only issue that's before you is adding whether or not you want to add a member
Okay.
to the committee.
Okay.
The committee decides who its representatives are in the negotiation process. So that's the as the superintendent correctly explained, that is and as Diane correctly explained, that is the very narrow question before you. Do you want to add Laura Chapman as an additional member? That's the only thing before you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Craig, did you have anything else?
So I'll finish what I was saying. I have questions to ask, and for me to make a decision, I want some answers. One thing I'm just going to generally ask is, we formed this subcommittee last winter. Why now? I personally, I'd like that, hear that from that person. And other questions. So I'm a no unless I can ask her personally.
Okay, so Tyler and then Pat.
I was pointing to John. I wanted
Oh,
to hear
okay.
what John, wanted to hear what John.
I thought you had your hand raised for a comment. Pat?
We've already opened that up. We've already done that once already. We've added Jess to the subcommittee that she requested to be added after we had already set up a subcommittee. So I think that's a moot point.
Well, Jess was here.
Yep, my problem, sorry.
Jess?
My issue is not adding someone to the subcommittee. My issue is that this is not Laura's request. You're requesting her, and she's not here, in addition to the other concerns that I raised. So I don't have an issue as long as it's not violating or is going to be a bad strategic move. But she's not here, and this is not her agenda request.
As I said already, I've already had a conversation with her about it, and she was happy to be added to the committee. Karen?
If we table this, is it still possible for Laura to attend those meetings?
That I don't know. John, can you answer that question?
That would be up to the subcommittee, but she obviously could not vote.
Okay. All right, so there aren't any, Tyler?
When is the next subcommittee meeting?
Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Thursday, no. 7 p.m.
Thursday. Mary, did you have a comment? Okay, please come up. Thank you.
The first thing is, I just need a little clarification. This is considered a subcommittee, just like the policy committee. It's not a special kind of committee because this is a very different situation. That's why I'm kind of wrapping my head around it. My concern is that as I look at the makeup of who's currently sitting on this subcommittee, there are 3 people. So when those people go off into another room to discuss a proposal that might be in front of them, there are 3 people, and if there's a vote between them or a discussion, there's no way it's going to end in a tie. If you add a 4th person, that could happen, and that would delay further negotiations. The second thing that I was thinking about when I reviewed the people who are on the committee is, I don't necessarily have a problem with adding somebody, but I would rather see someone get taken away if that happens, because when I look at that committee, there are 2 people from Hopkinton on it and 1 person from Richmond, and it seems like it would be more balanced to have 1 from each town. Now, I know how this worked out with everything, but if it can't happen now, while you're already making changes, then maybe it's something to look at moving forward so that there's representation from all towns on such an important cost spending kind of situation.
Thank you, Mary. Polly, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to clarify for Mary. If you have a vote that's 2-2, the vote fails. So there isn't a tie situation. And bringing Laura in, she is a Charlestown rep. So this kind of rounds it out, and she's very knowledgeable, and she has expressed to me that she wants to do this. Who are we to say no? And I would ask Diane, has she expressed the same to you? Because you're the chair of that subcommittee.
Yes, she has clearly expressed that she has an interest in becoming part of the negotiation committee. Yeah. she
Crazy.
has. Sure.
Yes.
Well, I'm hearing that now, the same thing from Louise and Diane and Polly, that you have all talked to her, but I think I fall in line in the agreement with what Mr. Luzon said, that like, it'd be nice to hear her say that, because, I mean, we all know, even little kids know that you say something to this person and by the time it gets to that person, it can be twisted and changed, however, that it's not really the original intent. So, I mean, I'm favorable to tabling the matter until Laura can speak for herself.
So I'm just going to comment on that, Mary, and I've given you a lot of leeway, and I've heard what you've expressed on a number of different topics. But to me, that questions my integrity, that I am misconstruing or misrepresenting that there was a member who expressed interest in joining a subcommittee. So I'm just going to say that, and
That was not at all.
your intent?
No, it was not at all my
Okay,
intent.
I appreciate that
I
feedback.
was just making the comment as a general statement.
Okay.
That when people are not available to speak for themselves, often what they think can be taken the wrong way and then passed on in a wrong way. It was not a personal statement. That's a little sensitive on your part.
It's not, but thank you. Tyler?
Madam Chair, I would tend to agree with Craig. If a member wants to be added to a subcommittee and they're not here to speak for themselves, I would rather have them be here to speak for themselves. From what I'm gathering, I don't. It doesn't seem to me that delaying this till the next meeting, adding someone to the subcommittee when they can be here and speak for themselves, is going to put us behind the eight ball, based on where we're at. So I currently, I would hate to vote no on this. I would probably abstain if we move to a vote, but I would be more in favor of tabling this till next meeting.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your feedback. We do have a meeting on Thursday about a topic that there's expertise that would be coming forward on the committee. So I do think that this is timely, and our next meeting isn't until September,
Which it sounds like,
mid-September.
it sounds like from Mr. Anderson, the member could attend, just couldn't vote.
Okay.
Correct.
Craig?
So, one thing I don't get about this committee is Robert's rules is quite simple. I never made a motion. A motion was made. I just suggested tabling it. Now, we've had a major discussion about it. Vote on the motion. If what I suggested doesn't affect it, then so be it. Then I lose. But at least we shouldn't keep wasting the people's time. So that's just my last.
I'm just trying to respect everybody's input here.
You could just withdraw the motion as well.
Well, I'm not going to withdraw the
No,
motion.
no, I'm just saying that Craig's saying that we vote.
Right.
You made the motion, she
But
seconded
it
it.
could-
You
that's
shouldn't be
the-
making the motion in the first place as the chair.
Well, it is
You
my,
asked someone to make a motion for you.
okay, I appreciate that feedback. It is my agenda item. Okay, so there's a motion on the floor and there's a second. So all in favor of adding Laura Chapman to the NEA Certified Negotiation Subcommittee, all in favor, please raise your hand. So Polly, Louise, Pat, Larry, and Diane. All those opposed? Linda, Jess, Craig, Karen, all those that abstain? Tyler? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Discussion of the Bureau Veritas document sent to the district requested by Diane Taft. Diane, I'm going to turn that over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. So before I begin, I wanted to make it very, very clear that nothing within this draft report will be revealed. No information within it at this meeting. This is merely a draft report, okay? It is not the official Veritas report. My concern with finally receiving this report is that, you know, back in the last school committee meeting,
Hold on, Diane. Members, let's give Diane her attention. Thank you.
I asked a couple of questions as far as receiving any type of report from Veritas, RIDE, or in any way, shape, or form. And the response was that there was no documentation, no information available regarding this Veritas report. But I have since found that that is not completely accurate. There is a preliminary draft report that does include some specifics. And I will agree, it is not a complete report, and it is not extremely descriptive. However, my concern being is that, you know, this report was emailed to Gina, Greg, Jason Sullivan, July 15th. And when I was asking questions at the last meeting, it was made very clear that nothing was received. So I guess my question is why say nothing was received when in fact the documents were sent not only to this school district, but also to Exeter West Greenwich and other school districts as drafts? Now, I know that these drafts can be shared with the school committee members because I received a copy of it freely from RIDE. So I guess that's the question I really need answered. So why weren't we told about this draft when it was received?
Because it's not a draft. And I'm happy if you want the necessity for school construction, you just heard that conversation where Mario Carino specifically told the entire committee, and that's actually on videotape by a group, that said, this is nowhere even near a draft. I absolutely shared that with the committee. Your question to me was, if you have, we would like the draft. We don't have it. We still don't have it. The data set that you received, and actually, I'm happy to let any one of the Polly or Jess or Karen or Craig, Pat, were you at that meeting too? Pat, explain what Dr. Mario Carino said, where I sent it to you because you asked for the report. I told you the report doesn't exist. He told them the report doesn't exist. It's nowhere even near draft. This is not a draft report. This is a data set. Our meeting is Thursday to be able to comment on the data set. But that's not what this item is.
Well,
But what I can't explain, what I can tell you was Dr. Mario Carino explained a little bit better today was, if you think about it like a cake, they gave us a list and asked us to make comments, and we're meeting with them on Thursday because I have no idea what this is, because it's a minimum. It is not even close to being a draft. You asked me for the draft report. Mario Carino said on video that it won't be ready to the fall. It's exactly what I told you. So it's unfair to suggest that this is my integrity too. You asked for a draft. I told you it's not the report. This, what you have in front of you, that data set, it's not a report. And it's nowhere near even, I can't even explain what it is because it's nowhere near ready.
Well, when I reviewed this paperwork that came through, and when I spoke with Dr. Da Silva from RIDE,
Yep, Joe.
he was the one that stated that it was a preliminary draft.
It's also
have
incomplete.
it.
It's missing it's missing an entire building.
Well, I looked at the buildings that it had included in it, okay? And I understand this is not, this is not favorable, okay? This whole thing is not favorable. And I know it's hard to understand, but I guess I just was hoping that if anything was received, that we would have been told about it.
You will,
including.
I can't explain
anything.
it, so I have to meet with them to understand what they're doing so that I can share. I would never share something with you that I haven't received the information on. Me getting the spreadsheet was us to prepare so that we can meet with them. That's all it's for. I have no other information. It would be irresponsible of me to share something that I can't discuss or talk about or have any background on.
So I just have a question. When you say meet with them, do you mean meet with RIDE?
Bureau Veritas.
Bureau Veritas.
So we have, Bureau Veritas was assigned by RIDE. In 2022, they went out for RFP. In the Jacobs report, they did the same thing. Honestly, it's a waste of my time, it's a waste of Greg's time, because we have done stage 2 applications that have a plethora of information for this district. This report's gonna offer us absolutely nothing. It's garbage. And that data set's not even accurate. It doesn't have all the buildings. So I said to them, you know, for the comments, I want to meet, because that we all superintendents have to make comments with their facilities directors. I said, we need to understand, because it says throughout the building. I don't know about you all, but I have no idea what that means. Ride agrees. This data set is nowhere near ready to be shareable, because we all are still, even Ride couldn't explain the data set today, because they're going to come to our meeting because they have similar concerns. So that's why Mario said today, you will not even get the preliminary draft until the fall. So if this is a gotcha moment, that's unfortunate.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. It's not.
Because
This conversation is very premature. Yeah. You're asking us questions that we don't have the answers to. Would you want me to present stuff to you that I don't have the answers to, or I don't feel?
Well, let me
finish speaking, please.
Okay.
Would you? I mean, when I'm at these meetings, I'm extremely well prepared, because when you ask me questions, I should have answers, because that is my job. Why would we present something to you that has no logical rhyme or reason to it yet? It's not a draft. It is a complete mess that if we present it to you, everyone would be looking at us saying, do you know how to do your job? So it's premature. And they won't release it, and you won't speak about it because it's so premature.
Okay, but presenting it to us was not my question. I don't expect you to present something that is so inaccurate and so incomplete. My direct question was, when I asked if anything was received, the answer was no.
That's not your question. That was not your question. Your question was,
in this
I
last
want the
meeting,
draft report.
in the last school committee.
You
Have
asked
we
for the
received
draft report.
anything? Have we received it? No, that was even before I knew. I didn't know
You
we
actually
received
said
it at the
July
last
19th?
school committee meeting.
Diane, you said July 19th. I searched my email. I have nothing from July 19th.
Hold on. We're having a discussion. I understand that you have some comments. If you would like to get in line behind Mr. Avedisian and express yourself, then get in line behind Mr. Avedisian. Thank you.
So, Diane, with all due respect, bringing this item like this to publicly call out myself and Mr. Zanian to say, why didn't you get it? We explained that. You didn't get it because we can't explain it. And if the committee wants me to send you everything I get that I can't explain, then please make that your next directive. But overall, I don't think it's fair that you're saying that we misrepresented anything, because there is no draft report. That is not a draft. You specifically asked me for a draft report. You did not say anything you have. That's not fair, because that's not what you said.
The last school committee meeting.
You asked July 19th. I quickly searched, and it wasn't July 19th. When we went back, we found July 15th.
No, it was July
data set.
15th.
I shared that with the chair. She asked me, just share what you have. I asked, right, can I share it? They said, we wish you wouldn't. And I said, you know what? I'm sharing it. I spoke to Mr. Anderson and said, I'm not going to look nefarious or non-transparent. So if it's garbage, it's garbage. And I told Mario Pino I sent it. Because for me, this report does nothing. You having it, not having it, it helps you no way at all. You don't even need it to make a decision for stage 2. It's that, it's not a function of this committee. It's something the state requires. It is minimal. The Jacobs report basically it says, hey, in the next 5 years, these things are coming to fruition, but it gives you the report. This is the data set they've asked us to meet on. I wouldn't share with you anything until I have any understanding of how to explain that. If you want Greg and I to have intricate knowledge on how to do that, then you have to allow us the opportunity to do our job. I don't send you all everything I get, because I have to discern what is usable. This is garbage, this data set. It does you no good. So I'm not going to give you or ask you to spend your time on something you can't use.
Okay, point well taken. Well, why couldn't you just have said that to us in the beginning?
I told you there was no report. I was honest.
But you had a data set. But you could have just said, this is so bad and so incomplete, it's not worth sharing.
Diane, we never had this conversation. You sent an email and you asked for a future agenda item. I can't discuss future agenda items on the agenda. I can only put it on the agenda. You sent us an email, so I'm confused on where you said this conversation happened.
When we were looking at the contracts for SLAM and everything, I did ask, well, do we have anything from Veritas? I did ask.
You asked me?
I asked you, and they said, oh, you shouldn't take those reports as, you know.
I guarantee if we go to the video, it says there's no draft reports.
Right.
And they're right, that it's garbage. What they gave us is absolutely not usable.
Right, but what I'm saying is I asked, is there anything? And whether it be a draft, whether.
I'd have to go back to the video, Diane, because I believe I gave the accurate, every time I speak, I'm very careful about giving accurate information.
And I do appreciate that, but, you know, that was a question I needed to ask, and.
I stand by my decision.
Jess, Karen,
Even when this report is finalized, it's not for us as a school committee, as a district, to figure out how to make a capital improvement plan. It's for the state to address the need for legislation. This was explained by Mario in our meeting today, Mario Carino. It's a state initiative to go through all 300 plus schools that are in the state so they can decide what, if there's legislation that needs to, like the Jacobs report, the 2018 school construction bond is a result of that Jacobs report and all the deficiencies it found across the state in our buildings. And the idea is for it to be a high-level identification of needs of our schools. And our job as a committee, as a district, as an administration, is to find the solutions to those needs. And not just through that report, but through on-the-ground research and the people that work here. You know, I've toured every single school in this district, and I'd be curious to know who else on this committee has done that. That's the kind of, you want to show of hands? Every school?
But I think you're misunderstanding. That's not the question I asked. Okay.
I'm commenting on the discussion, which I agree has gotten out of hand, and the situation is unfavorable because we do not have a capital improvement plan, and the only way we're going to get one is if we can work together and not focus on feelings of being slighted, which I think, you know, we deserve information, but if the information's not ready, I'd rather wait until it's ready.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and I would too. Thank you.
Karen?
I'm fine. Mr. Avedisian, I think.
I- Madam Chair, I did have my hand up before
I'm sorry.
anybody did, and then you recognized others.
I'm sorry, Craig, there's just a lot of discussion
No, I
going back and
understand, I
forth. It's like a
understand.
ping
You get
pong
consumed,
game right
you get
now.
consumed.
And
I
I'm
do
listening too.
understand.
So I'm trying to listen, process, and recognize everybody, so.
So you asked all the members that were at the meeting earlier. I specifically asked, in reference what Gina was explaining, that question, knowing this was on the agenda tonight. And folks, listen, this report, when it is finished, isn't going to give us a whole lot of information. It's all generalizations. What we should be really looking forward to is what SLAM says and what Collier says, because that's going to go on the paperwork that we provide to RIDE. So, and by the way, this wasn't a discussion. In my opinion, it was an argument. And it wasn't, in my opinion, it's not good for the public. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wanted to comment on this? Hold on one second, Greg. So my observation on this is that there is a discrepancy between the word draft and data set, because you and I had a conversation about that, and that's why I encouraged you, Gina, to just give what you have to the committee. So maybe there's an interpretation by you, Diane, of what draft is, and an interpretation by the administrators who have gotten lots of these reports in the past. And the reports that they may have received in the past were a lot more substantive and detailed. Is that a fair and accurate assessment? And you just didn't feel that this was rose up to the level that
Past reports.
was
you can-
discernible or
past-
could be shared with the committee?
Yeah, we have never seen this. I have
We've
never,
never seen anything like
when I asked RIDE what it was, and they said, we went through it together, and then I said, they said, well, schedule your meeting with your project planner, so because they've asked because it's like, they basically said, we need you to schedule this to make comments. So we called right into, we don't, like, this is not even complete. I don't even have all my buildings. How can I make comments at a meeting when it's not even, so then I have to have another meeting because you forgot the building? And I said specifically, is this considered a draft report that we would be sharing? And they said, absolutely not. And then when Mario said today, he gave an example of the cake. He said, this is not even, like, basically, they picked their vendor, Bureau Veritas. Let's say you're making a cake. They picked Stop and Shop to go buy their cake. And now they got all the ingredients, but they've got to talk to the district to figure out what we want to do with, and by the way, we don't know where all the buildings are. So I would never, and I have never, shared anything with the school committee that I myself can't discern, understand, or share in a way that would be, like, I never just forward you guys to go, hey, here, take a look at this. Like, that's not something that I think is responsible, which is why we reached out to RIDE, and they said, this is not even close to shareable. But Joe DeSilva told me that Senator Morgan called, and Member Taft called, and Member Chaplin. I mean, they tell us, but honestly, if I had something to hide, then I would have that's not the thing I'm hiding. Like, I have no reason to hide anything. It's a data set that I can't explain, that Greg can't explain. And I said to the chair, happy to put it on the agenda, but I have no background. And I got more background today at the Necessity for School Construction meeting than I have from RIDE in the last 3 weeks that we've been trying to meet with Bureau Veritas. But this is really not, and I agree with Craig, this agenda item it's a distraction from the work, especially because the elementary capital planning is important. I shared that with the chair. I said, my recommendation is not to put it on the agenda. She felt as a member that she wanted just to put it on the agenda because you had asked her, and that's her decision because it's a school committee request. But when I've been here for 6 years to try to get a capital plan together, anything that's not good enough is going to distract the community and provide confusion. And my job is to make sure that we have coherent and aligned information so we can make good decisions, not to be giving you things that are not worth your time.
So I just want to comment on this one more time, and then my time will be, because there's only 2 times you can weigh in on something on the same topic. So when we had the meeting on August 5th with Slam and Colliers, I believe Member Phelps had some questions. We have to make decisions because we're going to be spending a lot of money to move forward with plans. And that's an awesome responsibility when you have to expend that amount of money for things like this. So I don't think that this is a gotcha moment. I think that this was just, and I'm not speaking for Diane, this is just my opinion, that in order for us to make decisions that are in the best interest of the district, if there was a misinterpretation as to what a draft report is and a data set, there were 2 members asking questions about Bureau Veritas. And I just think that, and forgive me if I'm speaking on your behalf, and jump in if you'd like to jump in, but this was a big deal for Larry, and this was, I think, a big deal for Diane in order to be able to have information to move forward, to expend a lot of money for the district to move forward with a stage 2 application. So again, I don't think that this was intended to be a gotcha moment. I think this was intended to be, we're trying to make the decisions to move forward. And when those decisions are as awesome a responsibility of how to move forward with new buildings, renovations, 3 buildings, 1 building, or renovations, we're just trying to digest all of that information and make the best decisions possible for the students that we serve and the staff that we serve. And, you know, if I misinterpreted or spoke out of line, please jump in. Karen.
We are looking at expending an awful lot of money again, because we're going through this process again. And we learned through the first process that a lot of people looked at the Jacobs report as the Holy Grail. And it really wasn't. It was a 5-year plan to say, this is what's happening. That's what the Bureau Veritas report is. It's not a micro, it's a macro look at our buildings. And it would be irresponsible to put out inaccurate information that some people are going to grab a hold of and put out misinformation as we're moving forward in this process. Mario made it very clear that the Bureau Veritas report is a little piece. The important piece comes from SLAM and Colliers, who are actually in the buildings and looking at the buildings and really telling us what needs to be done.
Thank you. Larry, you had your hand up. Did you want to say anything?
No, it's just, I wanted it because I wanted to compare it to what Colliers Slam is gonna do and you make a comparison and.
They made it very clear that we can't do this as a comparison because the Bureau Veritas report is a 10,000, mile view,
Right,
like
right.
an overview.
Right.
And what Slam and Colliers is going to give us is a very micro. So this is kind of what happened with the Jacobs report. People relied on the Jacobs report to say Hope Valley was in excellent condition. When we toured that building, we saw that it was not in, it looks beautiful, but when you tour and look at the bones of the building, it's not.
So at the meeting today, it was clarified again that when you're doing, whoever they get as a vendor, that report is for the General Assembly to make determinations on bringing in federal dollars for bond opportunities for facilities around schools. You all, that report isn't going to help any of you because that's why they require you every 5 years, but in here we've done it every year. So we've actually expended more money trying to get it to a plan than probably we should have need to, because typically a school district does this once every 5 years. We've been doing it every year. So if we really want to be thoughtful about that fiscal responsibility, then we want to make sure this one gets through the finish line. But the Bureau Veritas, the data set is garbage. The report isn't going to be available, even a draft isn't going to be available to the fall, and it's not for you. It gives you your facilities. Jason Sullivan is who is responsible for our facilities. He provides daily input, as does Greg. Stage 2, when you do that, that's what gives you the specific in-depth analysis. That's who you want to listen to. That's who you're paying to make sure you get all that information. So it was very clear to the necessity for school construction today that one has nothing to do with the other. They're different purposes. So you would never be able to use anything that Jacobs or Bureau does other than saying, here's a 10,000-foot view that Jacobs report did so that they can tell you, hey, in the next 5 years, these are the things that may happen. It's not going to give you anything more than that.
Okay. Greg, did you have a comment?
Yes, and Jeannie, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I heard, I attended the meeting, and the rest of the committee members who were there as well. I heard him say specifically, don't wait for the Veritas report. It's not going to be ready for months, were his exact words. And in my mind, based on my understanding of what that report is about, it is going to offer this committee no value in evaluating what you need to do to make improvements to the elementary schools.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on, because there's no action being taken on this. Next item, discussion on whether to have the whole school committee or a subcommittee of the school committee members to revise the evaluation process of the superintendent. So this was requested by Jess and Laura Chapman. Jess, did you?
Madam Chair, just.
Yes.
Again, with Laura not being here, I'm going to make a motion to table this. I was the one who originally brought this up. I wasn't ready to bring this back to the agenda yet because I had some more thinking and thoughts that I want to put around this. So I'm going to make a motion to table this.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So when you have a motion to table, I thought Robert's rules, you cannot discuss,
Fair.
right?
I
So,
want to though, but.
okay, so we have a motion and a second to table. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, consent agenda items.
Wow.
The whole one?
So does anything need to be pulled from consent agenda? Hearing none to be
Make a
pulled?
motion to approve, the.
Oh, Jess?
Can I pull A1?
Okay, A1? Yes. So
Make a
do-
motion to approve A1.
Second.
all in favor? Discussion?
Yeah, discussion. when I was reviewing the minutes, it was not reflected the chair's directive that the audience not clap. And I hadn't noticed it in the previous two meetings, but, no, I used that at two meetings. Chair Dinsmore instructed the audience in her speech before public forum that they are not allowed to clap.
That was or wasn't?
It was not in the minutes, and I'd like to see it reflected in the minutes.
So and John, I'm going to ask you to come up to the mic, because I think we need clarification on, my understanding is that when committee members want things in the minutes, they have to say it at the meeting that I want that to be reflected in the minutes. Or is this the opportunity, like Jess said, because I know in the past, my friend Donna Siskevich had shared that there was concerns about people trying to change minutes or add to them, because it's not a reflection of everything that happens. It's supposed to be the culmination of the big picture items in the agenda. But I need your advice on that one.
Yeah, the Attorney General has said, and based on the Open Meetings Act, that the minutes of a meeting do not need to include who said what at all, with the exception of votes. That's the only thing that the minutes have to, that the law requires that are in the minutes. There is a long tradition in Charahoe of having concerns about what gets in the minutes and what doesn't get into the minutes. If somebody wants to add something to the minutes, I think there are two ways to go about it. One is to ask that it be added and take a vote on whether it's added, or alternatively, the member who would like something added can simply give it to the clerk and say, I would like this added to the minutes as a statement from me. So there's two ways to go about it.
So to Jess's point, hers is not a statement from her, it was a statement that the chair made. How would that work?
And if justice believe or wants it included that the chair said A, B, or C, again, there are two ways to do it. One is to make a motion to amend the minutes. The other way to do it is to simply attach, have Jess say, I think the minutes should also include that the chair said A, B, or C, provide that to the clerk, and the clerk will attach it to the minutes. One thing I will say to all of you is taking the minutes of this group with 12 members is not easy. And to the extent that anybody has questions about the minutes, and I say this to all my school committees, is please talk to Angela as soon as you see the minutes to say, wait a minute, Angela, I said that, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain, to quote Julie Andrews, and you didn't get that into the minutes. But we're here tonight. There are two ways to approach this. It's up to Jess whether she would like a vote or whether she would like to simply write it down and ask Angela to attach it.
Can I continue? So I do, if I notice a typo or something, I'm very open with Angela. This is something I noticed typically in the school committee meetings I attend, the chair opens public forum. They might say something that's in the policy. What bothers me about the directive from the chair about clapping is that it was not in the policy. I had called a point of order 2 meetings ago that it was not in the policy. At the last meeting, I did not do that, but I do feel it's important that it's reflected in the agenda that something beyond policy was a directive from the chair. So I make a motion for Angela to add.
Did you put it in writing for me?
Well, I would want you to, yeah, I can put it in writing, but I'd want you to refer to your notes. I don't want to put any words into.
No, but you're asking me to add, so please.
Yeah,
to
please.
add that this was something that was not part of.
Right.
Okay, no?
John, that's correct. We would,
And then
Jess
we
is
can
going to
amend
read her statement, give it to the clerk, and we can just add it that way. Or adjusting the minutes would require a vote of the committee, correct?
Okay, so I think we have a motion and a second.
I made a motion.
So we do have a motion to approve and Linda Lyle to give a second. My question is, are we at the point where we are going to rescind that? and table these until they can be fixed, or do we have to approve these and then move on to an amendment? Oh, we don't have one. So should we go to the point where we are amending after the fact and approving tonight, or just table and approve once they can be fixed?
You can do it either way.
What's your choice?
I mean, the simplest way to do this is to, and it's Jessica's call, she can either make the motion, which I believe you just did. I'm hard to hear back here when you don't use your mics, whether there was a second to it. If there is, you have discussion, you have a vote. Or alternatively, as the superintendent said, Jessica can say to the clerk, I want to attach a statement.
And so she would then write that statement specifically.
She write that statement and give it to you. It's up to you.
And that doesn't require a vote.
So even if this was approved, you'd be asking me to amend it and giving me that statement.
No, if she takes the vote, we would go back to the video and update it based on the notes and the probably, because everything is on YouTube, so anyone can go back to watch any part of the meeting. But it's up to you because Justice is your,
Yeah, that's, I would prefer to go back and add from there.
so then you
Not to
you
make a
have, you
statement.
already made the motion. Do we have a
The
second?
motion was to approve, Linda's was second.
So, who made the motion to approve?
I did.
Okay.
That's the
So-
way to bring it up for discussion.
Right, but then for me to make a motion to amend,
I think you'd have
You need
to.
to
and I also
have to
did that.
rescind.
I recommend you rescind.
Okay, I rescind my motion.
Who was the second?
Linda.
Did you have a second?
No, you made the motion.
No,
He
you
made
made
the
the
motion.
I made the motion
Jeff
for,
hasn't made a motion.
for the
No, I
For
did.
approval.
A1,
And I said,
which brought it to discussion.
Yeah.
Jess hasn't added a motion.
She wants to
I
make a
did, though.
motion to amend. You need to rescind your motion?
No, I still got to, I'm keeping my motion. She wants to rescind her amendment.
No,
Then
I
she can
don't.
just-
She doesn't want to
Oh, she
rescind her
doesn't?
amendment.
No, you don't.
No.
So then-
She
then
wants
I'm-
the
then-
minutes to reflect that I
Right,
wanted certain I said certain things.
you're attaching that to my motion.
Yeah, so you're making an amendment, Jess.
Yes.
Yeah.
right, she,
Oh, I thought she was just going to privately talk.
No, I think
Okay,
she's
so
gonna-
Jess,
So what are we doing here, folks? I don't know that a member of the audience can call point of order. Only the members can.
I
Well,
don't know about that.
is that up for interpretation too? Thank you, John.
You're correct on that.
Thank you.
It
Okay,
happened.
thank you. Yeah, now I'm getting, so what are we doing, folks?
we're going to make a motion to amend the minutes to include that the chair said that
The audience cannot
per the
clap.
policy, she was asking them to hold their clapping or applause.
I don't think she said per the policy, but I
Okay, so
think
what was-
it went, it was,
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
yeah. She directed the audience that they cannot clap during public forum, which is not included in the policy.
Okay, so we are adding that to the minutes? Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, moving on.
So, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to move the remainder,
Second.
except, but before I do, I would like
donations.
to acknowledge the donation from the First Hopkinton Seventh-day Baptist Church has pledged to donate approximately 20 backpacks with supplies during the week of August 25th, 2025. This annual donation includes backpacks, pencils, markers, dry erasers, pencil boxes, Post-it notes, glue sticks, etc., and it is much appreciated.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor of the remainder of the consent agenda items? Anyone opposed? No. Okay, reports.
So subcommittee reports in your packet, you will find the minutes from the Necessity for School Construction meeting, our back to school updates. Our new teacher orientation begins tomorrow, August 20th, and ends on August 21st. All teachers and staff return on August 25th, and our teachers have a professional development day on August 26th. The first day of school for students is August 27th. Our monthly newsletter for September will be sent out next week, and our welcome back flyer is scheduled to be sent out tomorrow to all families. Bus routes will be posted on our website by August 22nd, and as a reminder, our transportation policy provides all guidelines that families need to be aware of. I want to thank our bus company, Ocean State Transit, our police department, and all of the bus drivers and monitors that work throughout the summer to update the routes, review them for the safety, and ensure that they all have the drivers' dry runs done for efficiencies. As always, we appreciate everyone's patience, as planning routes in a district of 128 square miles is no small feat, and the process is designed to ensure the least amount of changes as once we begin school. Our K registrations are Ashway, we have 48 kindergarten students with 2 classrooms. At Charlestown, we have 47 kindergarten students with 3 classrooms. And at Richmond, we have 81 students with 4 classrooms, a total of 176 kindergartners, and last year we had 182. Our elementary school capital planning process is well underway. At the August 5th special school committee meeting, the school committee selected the recommended owner's project manager from the Necessity for School Construction Subcommittee, which is Colliers, as well as the recommended architect, which is SLAM. The school committee will be getting a presentation from the architects at their regularly scheduled meeting on September 16th, which will later be presented to the community at each of our elementary schools. All dates will be posted on our website by August 29th. Our school improvement plans, I'm pleased to share that they are posted now on the district website. This is our annual review. These plans provide our community and our families and our faculty and staff with a clear view of each school's goals, targets, and action steps for the year ahead. Every plan is developed in partnership with the school improvement team at each building, which serves as the advisory group to guide and strengthen all of this work. These teams include educators, families, and community representatives, ensuring broad input. The plans fully meet state law requirements and are aligned with the district's Vision of 2026 strategic plan, and they were approved by me this past July. Each school improvement plan contains specific goals with actionable steps that outline their focus. These plans also inform my goals so that we are aligned and support resources and systems in place to ensure that the schools can meet their identified goals. My goals are typically approved in October by the school committee. This ensures alignment and coherence across the entire district. Together, these plans reflect our district's shared commitment to growth, accountability, and success for every learner. Our discipline overview, as many of you know, as superintendent, we must annually review student discipline data. We report that to RIDE to determine whether the discipline imposed has a disproportionate impact on students based on race, ethnicity, or disability status. For those who may not be aware, there is no hard or fast rule or universally accepted guidance concerning how to determine discipline disproportionality based on race, ethnicity, or disability status. However, we do use the quality guidance given by the U.S. Department of Education. Upon review, I am happy to report once again that we have no findings of disproportionality in Charahoe. Thank you for your time. Please go on the district calendar and look at all the upcoming events, as they will be populated frequently with open houses, picture days, and all of the important information. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Appreciate that report. School committee requests for future agenda items or legal opinions. Does anyone have anything that they want to add? Polly.
Hi, for the policy subcommittee, Andrea Drake had asked for us to review the requirements for high school graduation, right?
I asked her to bring it to the policy subcommittee. We have some logistical stuff around just the dates, but if we want a more robust review, we would have to go in front of school improvement teams. So we were unable to get a quorum, but we can, you don't have to ask for policy via this. Okay. You can.
It's out in the public, so we know,
No, that's fine.
But
yes, we have to do that.
Yeah.
So that goes to school improvement teams. That doesn't have to go to policy.
Maybe both at the same time.
It only has to go to school improvement teams if we're going to be changing the content. We're not changing content, but because it's good practice, we want to make sure the policy subcommittee sees the changes. It's really just the dates because we no longer have a class of 2025. But in order to keep the protocols in place, we don't want to bypass because then it could cause confusion.
Okay. Polly?
Can we also have a discussion about what Mr. Caradillo spoke about in the differences in the Title IXs that he pointed out? Maybe at the policy subcommittee level?
Yeah, Mr. Anderson.
Or with Mr. Anderson?
Only, because it's illegal, you have to get a vote, correct, John? Because it's a legal review. He questioned the legal.
I just want to make it, I want to make it very clear that a lot of what Mr. Caradillo said today is false. Go back and check the minutes. The so-called Biden Title IX regulations were issued in the spring of 2020. They were never presented to the Charahoe School Committee because of a lawsuit that was brought that affected, that was brought by the Moms for Liberty that affected certain of our schools. So that's a false statement on his part. In addition to that, with regard to the ride guidance, the Charahoe School Committee, when it adopted its policy, did not follow the ride guidance. And indeed, former Superintendent Ritchie, who wrote the policy, was summoned to Commissioner Wagner's office to explain himself. And I was present for that meeting. Superintendent Ritchie did a marvelous job explaining to Commissioner Wagner that the Charahoe policy is based on families and the rights of parents to say how their children are going to be educated. And Commissioner Wagner was satisfied with what Charahoe had done at the time. So
Thank you for that.
I'm happy, if you wish to put it on the policy agenda, that's fine, but I want to make it very clear before you invest your time.
Yeah, thank you,
that-
appreciate it.
That those statements that were made are simply not true.
And as a reminder, if we want the legal review of that, you will have to take a vote on that agenda item.
Okay, thank you. Any other future items for agenda or legal opinions? Jess?
I request an update on the NEA certified staff negotiations in executive session.
Okay, anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Great. Have a great opening of the school year.